Hey, how's it going guys? First of all, I want to thank all of you guys for watching the magic indicator video, reaching out to me and sharing with me your amazing feedbacks. Some of you guys have been asking me, what is the best indicator for Bitcoin? Is there any magic indicator that is exclusively designed for Bitcoin that can show us exactly when to buy and sell? Actually, there is one. The name of this indicator is called the Bitcoin COT Insider Indicator, created by technical trader Francis Hunt. In this video, I will show you guys how this indicator works, how to use it to maximize your Bitcoin profits, and also the good news is there's no source code needed for this indicator. Francis has already published his indicator into the TradingView library for absolutely free. So at the end of the video, I will show you guys how to find it and install it into your TradingView platform. But the most important part of this video is to learn how to use this indicator and understand the secret formula behind this indicator that makes it so powerful. Alright, let's get started. Before I explain to you guys how exactly the COT Insider Indicator works, let me show you guys how powerful it is and how much more money we can actually make with this indicator. For example, this is the Bitcoin weekly chart from March 2019 to July 2021. Our strategy with this COT Insider Indicator is extremely simple. Whenever there's a green triangle buy signal, we cover our short position and go long Bitcoin. And whenever there's a red triangle sell signal, we cash out our entire long Bitcoin position and go short Bitcoin. If two buy or sell signals appear in a row in the same month, for example, like what we had back in June 2019, we ignore the second signal because we already make the trade on the first signal. Let's say we start with $10,000 in our account. On March 25th, 2019, we had our first buy signal. So we buy Bitcoin at the closing price of that week, which was $4,167. On June 17th, we had our first sell signal. The closing price of that week was $10,913. So we cash out our entire long position at that price, made a nice 162% return in just 3 months. Right now, after we cash out, we ended up with $26,190 in our account. And we used this capital to put on a short position on Bitcoin at the price of $10,913. Next, we had our second buy signal on December 16, 2019. The closing price of that week was $7,535. So we covered our short position at that price, made 31% return on this Bitcoin short trade. Our account right now, after covering the short position, has $34,308 in cash. And then we go long on Bitcoin with this cash at the weekly closing price. Next, we had our second sell signal on February 16, 2020. So we repeat the exact same process. Cash out the long position at 32.5% return, account size at $45,459, and a short Bitcoin at a weekly closing price, which was $9,985. One thing I do want to highlight here is that if we look closely, we can actually see that this indicator perfectly nailed the COVID crash and helped traders successfully get out of that crazy panic selling at exact short-term top. Alright, next, we had our third buy signal on March 16th, 2020. Again, same thing. Cover our short position at 41.7% profits, account size hit $64,415, and we go long again on Bitcoin at the weekly closing price, which was $5,820. There are two things we can realize at this point. First, as we can see from this chart, over a period of 12 months from March 2019 to March 2020, the Bitcoin price only went up 39.7%, which means if you bought Bitcoin with your $10,000 initial capital at the first buy signal in March 2019 and hold it all the way to March 2020, you will only have $13,970 in your account. However, if you follow this extremely powerful COT Insider Indicator, you will end up with $64,415 in your account by March 2020. That is a mind-blowing 444% return over a period of just 12 months' time, while at the same time, Bitcoin only went up less than 40%. Second, this indicator not only perfectly nailed the top of the COVID crash and helped us get out right before that crash, but also it perfectly nailed the bottom of Bitcoin and literally gave us the perfect entry point for the next massive 1800% bull run. So basically, this chart from 2019 all the way to July 2021 is a perfect example to show you guys how powerful this indicator is and how we can take advantage of it to make as much money as we can. During the first half, from 2019 to 2020, the Bitcoin basically went up and down in a range and didn't move that much. But this indicator helps us generate more than 540% return. And at the end of the first half, this indicator perfectly nailed the bottom and helped us prepare and get on the second half, which was this crazy 1800% bull run in just 14 months' time with zero sell signal. Simply put, the true power of this indicator is to help Bitcoin investors outperform the underlying assets, maximize their potential returns with minimum numbers of trades and a minimal amount of risk. Oh, by the way, if you find this video useful and want to watch more of it in the future, please consider subscribing. Also, please help me and turn on that notification bell so you won't miss out on any of my future videos. Alright, at this point, I'm sure all of you guys want to know what is the secret formula behind the COT Insider Indicator. What makes it so effective at predicting the Bitcoin price? This indicator was originally created by this gentleman named Francis Hunt. He's a very well-known technical trader from Australia with more than 30 years trading experience. People also call him the crypto sniper. COT stands for Commitment of Traders. Since Bitcoin was allowed to be traded on futures market in the end of 2017, Bitcoin future contract has been the single most important instrument for institutional investors to get exposures on Bitcoin, no matter it's for short-term speculation or long-term holding. Why is this important? Because every single week, the CFTC has to issue a COT report to review all the trading activities, including the top buyers and the top sellers of the underlying assets. Compared to those traditional commodities like oil or gold, Bitcoin is very different. It is a brand new asset class on the futures market with a much smaller market cap. And because of this, those top-tier buyers and sellers with a large order size can have an extremely significant impact on the Bitcoin short-term trends. So if we can find a way to constantly track the changes between those top-tier buyers and sellers of Bitcoin future contracts, then we can effectively catch those trend reversal points on Bitcoin price. And that is exactly what this COT Insider Indicator does. Let's remove the blue line and start with the red and the green line. The green line tracks the percentage of the open interest from the top 4 buyers in the futures market, and the red line tracks the percentage of the open interest from the top 4 sellers. And if we combine these two lines together and calculate the delta of those top 4 sellers and the top 4 buyers, then that is how we get this blue line. Basically, this blue line indicates the changes of the differences between those top 4 sellers and top 4 buyers. For example, when the blue line goes down, that means the top sellers are covering their short position, while at the same time, the top buyers are increasing their long position, which is a very bullish signal for Bitcoin. When the blue line goes up, it will be the opposite. The top sellers are increasing their short positions, while the top buyers are decreasing their order size, which is a bearish signal. So after all the backtesting, Francis Hunt find out that whenever the open short interest from those top sellers becomes higher than 70%, the selling pressure will officially take over the Bitcoin market. And that signals Bitcoin has officially hit the short-term top. So that is the best sell signal that we can have from Bitcoin. On the other hand, whenever the delta of the top 4 sellers over the top 4 buyers goes below 5, that indicates the buying power will officially come back to take over the Bitcoin market, which signals Bitcoin has most likely reached the bottom and will start trending up. It could be a short-term swing lows or the starting point of a much longer trend. So once we have this COT Insider Indicator on our Bitcoin weekly chart, all we need to do is to check if the blue line crosses below 5 at the bottom, or if the red line crosses above 70% on the top, because that is where the Bitcoin buy and sell signals are coming from. Alright, here are some of the important tips that you have to keep in mind when you start using the COT Insider Indicator. First, this indicator only works on Bitcoin. It does not work on other cryptos. The reason is pretty straightforward, because the data we collect to build this indicator comes from the Bitcoin futures market, which means Bitcoin is the only underlying asset that this indicator tracks. It is not the entire crypto market. However, because Bitcoin weighs more than 50% of the entire crypto space, its price movement can have a dominant effect on other cryptos as well. So although this indicator does not directly work on the other cryptos, we can still use it in an indirect way to navigate other cryptos' long-term trend. Second, this indicator only works on weekly chart. Because the COT reports only issue on a weekly basis, we can only get the new COT data by the end of each week. So when you use this indicator, please use it on a weekly chart. Try not to use it on other time frames. And finally, if we go to TradingView platform and open the indicator tab, we can see that this indicator actually has 2 parts. The first part is called Hunt BTC COT Indicator, and the second part is called Hunt BTC COT Delta, the Insider. If you just want those triangle buy and sell signals on your weekly chart, then the first part is good enough. But if you want to keep tracking the changes between those top buyers and the top sellers, then you definitely need the second part. I will leave both of the links to each part in the comment section below so you guys can easily add them to your TradingView chart for absolutely free. And remember, you don't need to do any coding for this indicator. Of course, if you have any other questions, you can always leave them in the comment section below. Also, if you enjoyed this video, let me know in the comment section below as well so that I can make more of this type of videos to help you guys in the future. Alright, that will be the end of this video. If you are new to this channel, my name is Vic. Thanks so much for watching guys, and I will talk to you guys soon.